In this PowerCity live stream, I'm joined by a special guest who's going to be telling us all about their new development on PulseChain. We're going to be getting into the Midgard Explorer. He was backstage. He's just come back. He dropped off. As you can tell, we're definitely live. So let me bring up no other from the Midgard team, Mr. Hans in the house.
Hey.
Hans, are you there, Hans?
Yeah. Sorry, I dropped off. Just
you had a bit of a. Here you're back. You dropped off there for a sec. How are you doing?
Yeah. Just fat-fingered something while trying to find something.
As I'm rolling the intro, I can see you dropping off. I'm like, what's going on? But good. You didn't get cold feet. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on,
no
man.
Cold feet.
Hans, you're a member of a team of 5 who have developed a really, really interesting, not just interesting, a very, very accessible DApp on the blockchain, which, well, more than a DApp, something that was really needed. If there was 2 things I think the ecosystem needed, it was one was going to be some central exchanges listing PLS, and another was going to be a great block explorer, and you've done the latter. So tell us a bit about yourself, your team, and what you've done.
Yeah. So I've been in this community for a couple of years. I really became active around the time of PulseChain testnet, when I started ispulse.live, where I just basically tracked the testnet RPCs and the mainnet RPCs, and I was just watching for whenever the mainnet would come live, and actually managed to notify people that like PulseChain was live. I believe a minute or 2 before Richard actually made the official tweet saying, "Hey, it's live." And we also made a couple of. So I started off making. I always wanted to make something for this community. I always wanted to make something that people needed. During testnet phases, I also made like trading view style charts for the pairs on PulseX, which I also took to mainnet. What I didn't anticipate was the fact that Dex Screener would have PulseChain within a couple of hours. So it was probably all for nothing. But we have a pretty good track record of like providing people with services or making products that people really need. We made charts, which obviously was needed. We started off making a launch pad. This is when a team really started to gather around one single project, and more people came into the team. Ispulse was mainly me. Same with the trading view style charts. And yeah, we made a launch pad where people could launch their own tokens, but it would be unruggable, so to speak, because liquidity would have to be burned. Everything would have to follow a certain pattern. And then Richard came along and launched the pumped up tires. Then again, proves that we had a point that we were making something that there was demand for. We just didn't do the marketing. We didn't go out there, really. But we always looked at the option of, okay, can we make a block explorer like the Block Scouts version that we have is really buggy. It's really slow. It's not very modern. And block explorers have pretty much stayed the same since forever. They look like programs from the 90s, as you said. Sorry, yeah, you're muted.
They do. I was saying, for anyone who's been using any of the other options out there, PulseScan or Autoscan, sometimes they do the job, but sometimes they're slow and buggy, and they look like they're from the 80s or 90s, right?
Yeah, they do. And it's hard because what are you trying to display? You're trying to display as much information as possible. It's like an Excel spreadsheet. You have like tables upon tables upon tables of data. And how do you visualize that in a modern, clean-looking way? It's a really hard task, actually.
So tell us a bit, how does this differ then from what's already out there, what people might be used to in PulseChain already?
We're a team of 5. We all come from different backgrounds. 2 of us are developers, and We have one guy in charge of social media, another one that's really persistent and really intelligent. It's Mr. Pharmacist. People probably know him from Spaces because he tends to join the Twitter Spaces from time to time. Like he's very meticulous. He's very thorough. He's like our compliance officer. You know what I mean?
Keeps you all in line.
Compliance and ethics. Yeah, he keeps us all in line. And then you have Jörn, who's come from a business background. So he's done startups, he's done venture capital, he has lived his life in abroad, doing investments, and now he's settled for crypto. And we're really lucky to have him because he has so much experience with marketing, with like running a business day to day.
Well, it looks great. Like, one thing is just the visuals. We were talking about this backstage, but as we've said, the other options, they look a bit dated and what's not. And, you know, let's be honest, humans are humans. We judge things on first impressions, right? So
yeah,
Midgard looks great. It looks slick, but it's more than a clean UX, right? Can you share your screen? Because before you dropped out, I think you were sharing your screen, right? And give us a quick walkthrough and talk of the main points.
Do that.
Let me just remove this one when yours pops up. But people can see the URL on there is midgard.wtf. So let me remove this one and then add yours.
Yeah, we had a long discussion about what top level domain to choose for Midgard, and also the name itself. So the name Midgard, I believe it's used in Tolkien. It's a Old Norse name for the place you meet before you go to Valhalla. So everyone sort of meets here, and the gods take you to Valhalla or something.
Okay, pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool meaning.
So this is the place people meet on PulseChain. Is our idea. And the top level domain is like, okay, we wanted something fun. We wanted something memorable. If it was .io, AI, com, net, people wouldn't remember. But I think WTF, people will remember.
It's definitely stuck in my brain since I saw it, right?
Yeah.
You can't, I mean, Midgard, again, is not too hard to remember. And then it's, is it Midgard.io? No, WTF. Once you see it once or twice, I think it kind of, it gets kind of drilled in there. Yeah. So good choice.
Yeah. So we have Mats on our team. He's a UI designer. And like Mats, he's really a team with his girlfriend because she's focused on UX, user experience. And they two combined, like them talking over dinner about, okay, what's the best way to display this? What's the best user experience? That's a really, really powerful theme.
Yeah.
So Mats, he's a real genius when it comes to.
You've got two for the price of one with that team member.
Two for the price of one. That's correct. I believe, like we've had several projects approach us and ask, can you make web design for us? Can you design something for us? And I believe Mats, he will probably be for hire like once we're done with the main web design thing here, and we're mostly into the maintenance phase. I believe Mats is available to do some work. He does freelance work as his full-time job on the side of this project as well.
Cool. So let's get into the nuts and bolts, how it works.
The nuts and bolts. So block explorers, they tend to be really, really inefficient. Because what do you have? Validators and nodes. They have a complete picture of the entire blockchain. They know everything that's happened, and you can basically query the RPC nodes for anything, right? You index the block explorer by basically querying our own nodes. So, but it does this in a really inefficient way because it stores everything in a database that's not optimized. That's not. It requires a lot more space. It's kind of like you store data two places. right? You have the PulseChain nodes, and then you have the database for the block explorer. They contain much duplicated data. So we took a different approach. We took a hybrid approach where we take some data that we index and that we sort of combine together to give the user a great experience and powerful features. But then we took the power of the RPCs to load really fast, because they're really efficient at answering like calls. Like, what's the balance of this account? What's this transaction? Give me the logs for this. Give me the block for that. They're really, really efficient at doing this. They respond like super quickly. So we leverage both things at the same time, both having the database and also having the RPCs.
And this increases speed of recall of information?
Yeah, it increases speed dramatically.
We've got a question here, and sorry, quickly. Is this built mostly from the ground up or a fork of something?
So this is not a fork of anything. We looked at forking a lot of different block explorers, and we found them all to be not for what we were looking for. We wanted something that felt different, that was built different, that's faster, that's more intuitive, that's more, generally just gives you a better user experience.
And that goes back to your last point. So you went for this hybrid approach that you hadn't seen before, right?
Yeah. So we basically took, so OtterScan uses RPC calls to gather the data, but it gathers all the data from RPC. Okay. But what we do is we gather some data from RPC, we gather some data from our indexing and combine them together. And that means the transactions, they load like super fast. All the data renders super fast.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you want. You want speed, right? You don't want to. We were talking backstage. I've had times before where maybe I've done a transaction or what's not, and then it hasn't shown up, and I'm like, hang on, I'm sure I just sent that. Where is it? And it's like, you know, it's not showing on the block scout. So to have, I mean, speed is everything, right? People don't want to be waiting around hours for something to show up,
And the thing is, with block scouts, it relies solely on the indexing. So if indexing stops, it's more vulnerable. If indexing starts to lag behind, you also get delayed data.
Okay.
So you can see the difference. We have a transaction list here. This one's loaded from our database, and it's our index transactions. Yesterday, we started adding an experimental feature, which was the pending transactions. This one loads transactions directly from the mempool, directly from the RPCs. And here we can just see them stream in live as we watch. We can also filter for addresses.
Wow.
We can look for transactions coming from or to this address. I see that it didn't really work now, but that is the whole idea. We can also look them, and now we can see that this one is, this one actually confirmed now. But when it was loaded, it was pending. Yeah.
Wow. So if you're a little bit
pending,
if something hasn't arrived or you want to check where it is, you can come to this. So Doc Clover asks again, is there any potential issues of inconsistency between the indexed / cache data and the data retrieved from the RPC calls?
Inconsistencies, I have to think. Well, there might be slight delay, but the way we do it is, it means that if we're missing something, like if we're missing something in our index, the page will still be able to load, but you'll see less data. So even if there was inconsistencies, the page will still be operational.
Gotcha.
So in terms of like looking up a transaction here, as long as this transaction is actually found on the nodes, if it's in the mempool or if it's actually submitted to a block, we can find it.
Awesome.
Because we do the hybrid approach. So here you can see error analyzing transaction, and that's probably because, yes, we hadn't any data for this. So if we refresh the page, we now see what it is.
Awesome. So you've got this hybrid approach which helps with speed.
Yep.
It looks better than anything out there. Let's say I'm a newbie and
Yep.
I don't know how to use a block explorer, but I know how to get to midgard.wtf. How do I use it? Let's say I want to check a balance. How do I use it?
Yeah. So we made it pretty easy for newbies to start. If you head over to favorites, we have a blank favorites page here. And we have not sure what to add. Click here for popular addresses of interest. We have compiled some lists of addresses that we know the Hex and PulseChain community loves to monitor. So that's a great place to start. If you want to see, okay, what is Godwell up to? You can start favoriting his addresses.
Nice.
So these are addresses that are believed to be Godwell, right? There's no guarantee unless it's fully confirmed. People, please tell us if this is actually fully confirmed, like if the Godwell has publicly said that, okay, this is my address. Same with the RH related. RH is never gonna admit he owns these addresses, but yeah. So we just add a couple of these.
But it could be any address, right? So you could favorite your own address.
You can favorite your own address. You can favorite anything.
Okay.
We can also favorite tokens. So say we want to watch Hex. We want to watch, what else? We watch what?
I see PDX. Yep. What PXTC there? Earn Flex XTC. Great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to say again, the speed of everything that's loading is just fast. There's no lag.
There's no lag. And there's a bit of magic behind it. Mats is really, really good at optimizing these things and making some clever fixes.
Very good.
Which one of these should we look at?
Let's have a look at what were you showing me before? You were actually let's have a look at. So if you click on this, it'll give you the data of the token. So let's have a look at what.
Yep. With what you can see that we have indexed just 136 holders. This is currently being indexed.
Okay.
I have an index that's running right now that is a lot bigger than the one that we have live right now. We're in the process of migrating databases.
Sorry, Hans, your mic has gone out. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Not sure what's happened there. I can see you fine, but your mic has dropped out. Maybe just make sure it's connected.
Yep.
Okay. Seems like we've lost connection with Hans for the moment. Dove Clover says he will be using this going forward.
Can you hear me?
Can everyone hear? Okay. He's left. Okay. Hans seems to be, everyone's saying they can hear Hans loud and clear. He's left, but he might be coming back in a sec. So if we just hold tight, let's hold tight until here he comes. He's back.
Yeah. Can you hear
Hans, can you hear? Okay. I can't. Hello, Hans?
Yeah. I hear you perfectly.
What's going on with me then? Maybe it's me. Come on, just give me 1 sec. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. That was me. I'm sorry about that. So I was the one. My speakers went mad and connected to somewhere else. So sorry. Where were we?
Let's pick up. So we open up the WAT token, and we can see that there's 136 people or holders that we've indexed so far. And I was saying we have a balance index that's a lot bigger than the one currently being shown here, because we're in the process of migrating our databases and consolidating them into a single thing. But you won't notice. Suddenly, maybe a day or two, maybe in a day or two, like all the balances will be like a lot more complete. and it will be just a sudden switch.
Awesome. So anyone
Hopefully.
can go here for any token. They can see the top
Yep.
holders, the top wallets, who's doing what with what. No pun intended.
Yeah, we can click them. We can click them. We can see what kind of tokens they hold. We can see the transactions they've made. Yeah,
the speed,
and also we can see
bowled over
DeFi protocols that they have. Just to give you an example, we had an address here that we looked up earlier, and this one has a couple of stakes. So he has, I believe it's a he, could be a she.
It's crypto. It's 99.9% probably going to be a man.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so this address has 18 hex stakes.
Okay.
We can see that they also have Icosa and Hedron staked. They have a POWERCITY NFT. Yeah, and here we show how much they've claimed so far. I was a little confused when I added this this POWERCITY thing, because I didn't know that there was two different numbers I had to look at. One for how much has been claimed, and one for how much is available to claim.
Pending, yeah. So they can claim. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how exactly to display this. I've sent this to Mots, and I've said, okay, Mots, can you do your magic here? Because I'm Mr. Move Fast, break stuff. I'm a big believer in the 80-20 rule, where if you can do 20% the work and have 80% the functionality, that's perfect. 20% of people hold 80% of capital.
Yeah,
but you can do the same here. Like going 80% of the way requires 20% the effort. It's the remaining 20% that requires the remaining 80% of the effort. So I don't think anything with Midgard is going to be absolutely perfect. It's going to be a work in progress for a long, long time. I would rather have everything in the hands of the people and just let them use it right now and give us feedback, than me trying to polish everything, make it look nice, make it look perfect, and then realizing, oh, I missed something, or this isn't what people wanted. So, yeah.
So well, I mean, it's out there, it's working. Like you said, it's indexing at the moment. So in the next few days, the next few weeks, I'm sure you'll be up to speed. The URL is midgard.wtf. We've looked at a few of the different cool features. Let's just do something really basic. Let's go right to the homepage and put in an address, because for someone who's just watching this and maybe thinking, well, how do I even use this? I'm sure lots of people know how to use it, but if they haven't used Etherscan or BSC Scan or Scan Pulse, you can just come here, right? And it's right in front of you, right there. You can just type in an address or a transaction hash and get all the info.
Yeah. Or we can just let's find an address to enter.
Yeah.
Let's find one that has perhaps. I would love to see some examples of Pulse domains, because we do support Pulse domains. So if you have a Pulse domain, it should pop up as the.
But even just a basic address, just to show anyone how easy it is. You can just come to the URL and then just go straight here, right? And then copy and paste.
Middle, copy paste, hit enter, and you have the address details.
Cool.
You can also, so if you want to, I recommend people use this one for contracts and tokens for now, because it gives more room for the drop-down list.
Okay.
So if you want to look up what, we can just type in what, and we have. You can see it pops up twice.
That's
right
very
now.
cool.
Pops up both as a contract and as a token. Which
is this function available on other block explorers? Because I don't think I've seen this before.
It is, and it's inconsistent at best on a lot of other block explorers. So we have indexed quite a lot of tokens and contracts, So we're relying on a couple of lists, a couple of API points that we've set up for searching for tokens. We can also search for contracts. So we can do PulseX swap. I believe it's Pulse. Yeah.
Cool.
PulseX swap router contract, 2 of them.
So you say you use the top search bar for tokens and contracts, and then the middle bar maybe for addresses.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm guessing this one is the PowerCity core.
Is there 2 there,
Maybe.
or is there?
This one, maybe?
Yeah, if you click on that and have a look.
Yeah. That's GoPulse token. Okay. What's the PowerCity core contract address?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Look at the yeah.
What is that? I'm trying to look. You've got core.
Yeah, I got it here.
Okay. So you can verify contract addresses. You can, if you're going to interact with something, you want to make sure it's legit.
Yeah, we can just do the WAT token for now. If we enter the token address, this is the WAT token. It pops up as WAT.
Right.
So now we have the token view. But if we want to see the contract, we can hit the view contract details.
Okay.
And it will show up, show the source code for the contract. The fact that it has the green check mark means we have the source code for it.
Awesome.
And this is loaded from Sourcify. This is a question we get a lot of times. How do I verify our contracts with you? We rather you don't verify the contracts with us. We'd rather you verify them with Sourcify. We can make guides, tutorials, instructions on how to do this. But if you verify on Sourcify, it should be confirmed or verified on all block explorers, including scan.pulsechain.com and ours.
Okay.
So I see that you guys have verified with Sourcify, and that's definitely the best way to go.
Okay. So you're pulling the data from Sourcify. Just to reiterate for any developers out there on PulseChain, instead of contacting you guys directly, verify on Sourcify, and then you guys will pull it from there, and it will show up.
Yeah, and we pull it automatically from Sourcify. So just verify with Sourcify, it pops up. We do sync jobs, I believe, once a day or something. So it might take some time to fully show up with names in the transaction lists and stuff, but yeah.
Perfect. So as you said, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so here we can view the ABI, we can view the source code, we can copy the source code, ABI, features you're familiar with from Etherscan, Block Scout. We can read functions. You can see everything here. And you can do writes. Writes is a little buggy right now. Just hang in tight, and we'll fix it.
Great.
Yeah. So let's go back to address. I can go to token. So we also have, along with our Block Explorer, we also have an AI scanner, which I think is really cool. Scan with Midgard AI. There's a link here. This will become better integrated into the Block Explorer over time. So we can enter the WAT token contract address, and we can run an analysis. And basically what we do now is we analyze as much as we can from the contract. We fetch the source code. We try to run a bunch of read and writes functions here. It's a little inconsistent in its ratings, so I wouldn't necessarily pay too much attention to this. If we run it again, it will probably give you a slightly better result, maybe. Let's see. It does the same. So it tells us that the WAT token has 0% tax, 0% sell. don't pay too much attention to this overall risk. It explains why it's given these ratings here. Allows the token staker to mint new tokens. This can be used to inflate the token supply. Obviously, it hasn't understood the source code fully here.
So this is a feature that you said it will improve as time goes on. You can just press that and it will scan certain tokens, and I guess it looks for different parameters, right, of what it says. Okay, it can do and what it can't do, and
it's looking for. So the thing it's skeptical about here is the claim function. And I guess with the what token there was the ability to claim these tokens initially. But it now thinks that, okay, this will inflate the token supply, but so given enough time, the supply is going to be full anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. So we are fine tuning the instructions to the AI, and there's always edge cases where, so if you look up Hex, for instance, which is a good example, you don't necessarily see my screen, do you?
We were looking at your screen just then, yeah.
Yeah, but the scanner, you didn't see the scanner at all.
What was that? No,
you didn't.
Was that the AI scanner?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, no, we were still looking at that page. So if we go,
yep.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so if we enter a token address here, you can see I have 3 of 5 free searches remaining. We're using a paid API AI endpoint here, so we're limiting the amount of searches you can have per day. But basically, what it does, the security scanner now, it's scanning through everything. It's looking through the API. It's trying to read all the values. It's passing them to the AI. And we're also trying to brute force a couple of read functions. So you can see the hex token is given a medium risk here, and unknown taxes. But it goes ahead and explains to you why it's given these ratings.
So it looks for certain parameters, and based on obviously what it finds, it will give you a low, medium, or high risk. Obviously, it can be quite black and white, I guess. Did you say as time goes on, it will develop and it'll be able to read more nuances?
So right now we've just said that, okay, look for anything that allows the owner to manipulate the token, making it unsafe for trading or investing. And basically, that means that anything that affects the token supply or anything that can alter the ownership of the token in any way is considered bad functions, even if the owner is benevolent.
Yeah.
It gives you a couple of like longer explanations. You can,
And is this a feature that you guys didn't see on other block explorers? You thought you'd add in?
Yeah, I don't know any scanner that uses AI to analyze contracts. We had a really good example. I wish I had the token address for this one. I looked for the most honeypot of honeypot tokens that launched on PulseChain. And we found one that was really, really bad. It had everything you don't want to see in a token, like enable trading, disable trading, blacklists, anti-whale measures,
the opposite of DeFi,
anti-dumper measures. Yeah. And the thing is, the function names. So if you didn't know how to read code, you would just open up the block explorer, like the block explorer, and read the read functions and see, okay, this has a renounce ownership function. The owner just ran this function. The token now has no owner, right? But in fact, the renounce ownership function actually minted the owner more tokens, and he can run it as often as he wanted.
Wow.
And the scanner was able to pick up on that.
Awesome. So it can save people some hassle. without being able to being a developer and understanding all the code. Just to answer this question again, I think you've already said it. It's still indexing, right? So not every bit of data is going to be there yet.
Yeah,
Is that right?
we have all the transactions should be there. There's one exception to that, and that's transactions that's part of a batch. So if you have one transaction, for instance, I run a function call to a batch sender. The batch sender then distributes tokens to a set of addresses. Those addresses won't show up as part of that transaction. We're working on a fix for this, so you will be able to see related transactions, even though they're not directly to the end user or address to address.
But I think this guy's talking about stakes specifically. But yeah, they'll be coming, I'm guessing, in the next, as it indexes further, right?
Yeah, in terms of stakes, everything is loaded from directly from the blockchain. So it's loaded from RPC. We just call we have hard coded certain protocols into the DeFi tab. And when we look those up, it's checking directly with the RPC. Hey, does this user have a stake?
Good.
So that should be fully complete as long as we've got everything figured out.
Good stuff.
We're talking about this tab here.
Okay. Good stuff. Well, I mean, it's great to see that we've got a new block explorer on PulseChain that looks the business, that's fast, that has more function than just searching for balances, right? You can check contracts. I mean, in an easier way, in a slicker way than you can on other block explorers, but also that speed and that user experience is up there. You said it's a work in progress. What's next for Midgard? What's coming down the pipe? What's in store?
So I've recently been looking into what I've been trying to fix today and improve today is the transactions. So if we just want to see a couple of protocols here, let's just click a couple of them. So if we go into one of these transactions, like this is interacting with the hex contract, and right now we just see start stake. So what I've been working on is being able to decode this more and customize it to give a better user experience for the protocols that's popular on PulseChain. So obviously your PulseX, your hex, maybe some we'll make a list. We'll just look at what's the most popular transactions on PulseChain, and we'll customize the view to give those a particular good experience in terms of decoding the data that's actually happening. So here we can obviously see that the user here staked 369,369 hex. You can see that it goes from the address to the 0 address, which is the burn, and it's a start stake. So we always really see what this is, but I would like to visualize it in a more intuitive, easier to understand way that's customized for this this community, basically.
Cool. Well, it's live, it's out there. Everyone needs to get onto, let's just put the URL one more time, Midgard, where it's up here, midgard.wtf. Again, hard, not hard to remember. Start using it, and again, it brings, I think it just brings another level of professionalism to the ecosystem that was needed. So yeah, man, good for you. Where can people find out more about this if they've got questions? I know you guys have a Telegram group, right?
Yeah, we have a Telegram group, and people come in there all the time asking questions, and we're like, we're super grateful to the people that come into this room, talk to us about bugs, ideas, anything really. The community has helped us so much figure out what's needed and what's not needed, what's missing, what's wrong. So come in there, say hi. There's a lot of cool people there. A lot of people you know, a lot of people you don't know.
Cool. And I'm just sharing that in the comments there. It's at Midgard WTF. So if you add that on Telegram, then you'll be able to go in there, speak to, I'm sure, yourself and your team, and then and they'll help you out. Appreciate you coming on today, man. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Well, you asked what will I be working on for next, and this is a really cool child of mine. So this is a transaction visualizer where we basically just looked up an address and we draw bubbles around it, and the size of the bubbles correspond to how many transactions there are between these addresses.
Wow.
And the colors of the lines here and also the colors of the bubbles depend on if it's net inflow or outflow in terms of number of transactions. So this is a really cool way to just see visually, like, okay, what is this address doing? This will be part of Midgard too. It is coming. And then the way it works is you can click an address, and you will be able to load the transactions that address has as well, and you can start to triangulate and find patterns and see. It's really, really cool. You have tools like this on Ethereum that's really powerful in terms of chain analysis.
Yeah, I've seen a few people talking about things on Ethereum like this before, and a few visualizations. But yeah, to have this on PulseChain is going to be huge. It's off to the Midgard team. When will we might see that available?
Well, I'm hoping we'll see that in by the end of the month, basically.
Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thanks again for coming on, man. When that's live, you'll have to come back on and show us how it works. Do another deep dive.
Yeah, we can do a demo. Try to investigate some of the Richard Hart wallets.
Wow, let's do it. Let's do it. But in the meantime, people can go over to @Midgard WTF Telegram, jump in there, any questions, and I'm sure you guys are going to help them out, correct?
Yeah, we definitely need help figuring out more of the POWERCITY protocols, the lending protocols. So if anyone's an expert on that, please come into the room and just explain to me which functions I need to look at and what data I need to load.
Yeah, our team will reach out to you as well, and we'll any questions you have, we're happy to help. But yeah, thanks again for bringing this to PulseChain, and we're looking forward to whatever you guys have got next in store, the visualizer and more.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Matt.
Thanks, Hans. Have a good day.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks for watching, guys, and for any of the for the Block Explorer, you'll find a link below in the description box, and for any of the live POWERCITY dApps, you can also find the correct links in the description box below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.